What is up, you guys? Brandon Mulrennan here, founder of FSBO Domination. And with me today, I've got not only two of my favorite people on earth, but two of what I think to believe is some of our top students ever to go through our For Sale by Owner training program. And so with me today, I've got Matt Lang and Byron Thompson. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Absolutely. So here's what I wanted to do today. What I wanted to do is, you guys have now been with me in the program for about how long, did we say?
Just about a year, yeah.
So both of you about a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool about this is I interviewed both of you when you first joined, after you guys were with me for about 30 days. And so what I'd like to do today is kind of help the audience see what the last 12 months has looked like for both of you. What you struggled with in the beginning to where your businesses are at now, giving pieces of advice, because there'll be a lot of people, a lot of agents that will watch this. And this will help them see the future. Because I think one of the things agents struggle with so much is when they're doing the day-to-day grind that they forget where they're going. So you guys have gone through all of that pain, and now you're on the other side of success. So it's really cool to look back and kind of walk through that journey. You guys, does that sound fair?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So one of the things that I was thinking about for both of you is, both of you, I remember this vividly. And I think that both of you were a little bit skeptical about getting into the program in the beginning. Matt, you for sure. Walk me through that. Because there's so many things being sold to us in real estate. Walk me through and walk the people through watching this, why you were so skeptical up front.
Just constant. We're always getting sold to. I think I even did another For Sale by Owner program that really didn't work out too much. So I was kind of skeptical. You know, we've got people all angles pulling us, want money, promising us the easy pill. You know, so I was skeptical. Probably 50% you should be skeptical, but the other 50% you should be open and listening. If it makes sense, you know, and if it's something that you can commit to, that's the biggest part of committing. If you don't commit to any program, it's not going to work. So, and I think I even tried to make you pay you half at the beginning, then like half, a couple months later, and everything else.
Yeah, I remember that. Makes sense. Byron, how about you? I think you too. I remember, man. It was like you just were unsure in the beginning. You remember that?
Oh, 100%. And I was unsure for a different reason, because I was having a slow start to my career, and I didn't have a penny to my name when I looked you up, and come to find out that there was going to be a cost associated with learning what I was supposed to do. And it was pretty much all the money that I had in my savings account that it was going to take to get started. So, and then I kind of just decided I had to go on blind faith because I didn't really have another option. So I was very skeptical, but just because I didn't have anything else to back me up.
Well, what's interesting about what you both said was it was a little bit of skepticism because we didn't know each other. That was number one. Mm-hmm. But two, it was a belief in yourself. You know, I always say this to a lot of people. A lot of times people aren't willing to invest in themselves because they don't have confidence or belief that they're going to do the work and that they know they're wasting the money. So it's not the thing, but they just don't have faith in themselves. And both of you kind of touched on that a little bit. It's really interesting. So then you joined the program. So when you guys first joined, Byron, I'll start with you. Walk me through the early days of getting going, some of the early struggles that you were faced with.
Yeah, so obviously the early struggles, I mean, I had never just sat down and prospected for hours at a time. So just sitting down for 3-4 hours and dedicating time to speaking on the phone to homeowners was a struggle for me. And as we got into it, I'm getting a little more comfortable on the phones. I start going to a couple of people's houses, getting belly to belly with sellers. This is Matt's favorite story. He tells everybody about this, but I remember the very first time I went to a For Sale by Owner's house. I was taking them some information. I was going to hopefully help them along the process. And I got out of my car with the folder and I stopped. My palms are sweating. there's no way I can go in there with this folder. They're gonna yell at me. They're gonna cuss me out on their doorstep, and I'm gonna get kicked to the curb. I can't walk in there with this folder. So I throw the folder back in my car. I go to the house and I walk through it with them. You know, we had a nice, pleasant visit. It was fine. But I called Matt as soon as I got back to my car. I said, I couldn't take a folder in there. I couldn't do it. They were gonna hate it. They were gonna be mad at me. What am I supposed to do here? And he made fun of me. He gave me a hard time for a little while. But I mean, early on, it was just so uncomfortable because I hadn't been in front of very many sellers. I hadn't been in front of strangers, even though I knew that's what it was going to take. I had never done it, and I was terrified.
Because you were when you joined, you were working with mostly buyers. Is that right?
Yeah, I was working with I won't say mostly buyers. I wasn't working with anybody. I was new enough in the business. I'd done one deal.
That's right.
I'd done one deal and had one that I was hoping to show houses to. So I wasn't hardly working with anybody.
Cool. And we're going to get into your guys' numbers here later in the interview. And I kind of want to save that for the end of the interview. But so what about you, Matt? When you first joined, what were some of the early struggles that when you joined that you kind of went through?
Just the fear of trying to transition your whole business, because this would be my second year, full year this year. So the first year, I was heavy on the buyer side. And then I knew I needed to get to the listing side, and that was the reason why I was seeking information, because I knew I had to get there to have a comfortable life, a life that I can control, my hours and everything else. So I was seeking that, and I just didn't know if I could transition fast enough, financially, and still be there, with that, trying to flip your business. It's kind of tough. So with that, I knew that I needed to do something, and I was seeking information. Some of the struggle, like buyers, getting them first couple of visits are just very uncomfortable, because you've never been, face to face with a seller, and that's where the magic happens, when you're face to face, and just getting comfortable being in front of people, presenting to them, that was, the early struggles that now is some of our strong suits, because we suffered in the beginning because we went to so many and we did so many, and we just almost forced our way through them to get comfortable, and now we're comfortable at it. It's like a growing stage that you have to go through to get to where you want to get.
So that's exactly right. One of the things that you guys hear me say all the time is the learning is in the doing, right? And when I say those to so many agents, it's in one ear, out the other, they want to know it all. They want to have all the confidence in the world. Byron, can you speak to that for a second? Can you speak to how important what Matt just said about just getting out of there? I know it's super uncomfortable, but how much that has done for both of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, and Matt hit it right on the head, was that you had to just take it a step at a time. And like I said, for me, I was afraid to take a folder in there, even though everything in the folder was information that was going to help somebody. But so what I had to do was I had to first just go in and just get comfortable with being in the presence of somebody else. And then I had to get comfortable giving them information, being a leader for somebody else. And then I had to get comfortable asking them to sign a piece of paper. I had to, it was just a progression. And like I said, early on, we didn't list a ton of houses early on. We were just going through the process of making phone calls and trying to get in front of people and then going. But now we're at the point where now some of these meetings are more productive, or, we couldn't even see opportunity if there was opportunity when we were talking to people. We didn't even know what it sounded like for somebody to be at the point where they're tired of selling the house on their own, or, you don't really understand what that sounds like until you've talked to 100 people and you can say, wait a minute, he said the same thing as, this lady last week, or this lady 2 months ago said the same thing as this lady today, and you just hear kind of the same things over and over and over. And it really is, truthfully, you don't understand what it's going to be like until you get there. And then once you master each piece of it, you find a new piece that you've got to master. So we're fortunate enough that we've gotten better at it, and it's been a good start.
So here's what's interesting. You and Matt keep saying we, and here's the cool thing. What I'm going to talk about next is how did you get to the point to get over being uncomfortable and practicing and role playing, and this whole thing I talk about in the training program around building accountability partners, building bonds with people. Both of you are not in the same market. Is that correct?
Negative. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, and he's way out east of the Mississippi in Tennessee.
All right. Now, I want to talk about, because this is one of the coolest things that has happened between both of you guys, is you took what so many people talk about in the industry with, accountability partners, accountability groups, role play, everyone just keeps saying this. But the two of you have not only done that at one of the highest levels I've ever seen in my entire career, but at the same point, you've built this relationship with each other that that has been so strong. So talk me through what's happened over the past year with both of you guys, and how have you taken this thought to kind of the next level? Matt, why don't you jump into that?
Yeah, well, accountability I think is the hugest piece. Consistency too is the other thing. But if you don't have accountability, you won't be consistent in what you do. So, me and Byron still talk every day, every morning. We talk every morning.
Wow.
Role play, we mastermind, we do whatever. We hold each other accountable. We both mailed each other checks. I've got a check and a note from Byron on my wall. It says if he doesn't meet his goals, to go cash it. He's got one for me as well. Not only just in our business for accountability and fitness too. We both, agreed that we were going to run a marathon together, and we did that. In October, we ran the Marine Corps Marathon together. So it's that day to day. We're in the grind together. A lot of times we'll even Zoom our prospecting session together. That way, if you hear something, pick something up, you can kind of chime in and say, "Hey, try this next time." And it's just kind of been, that the bond you create and the accountability piece is really you can't replace that, and that holds you there. The days that you don't want to do the work, that's when you should do the work the most.
I love it. And you guys have created this brotherhood with each other that because you guys did not know each other before joining the For Sale by Owner training program. Is that correct? You guys didn't know each other at all, and any other group?
Never. I think you paired us together too.
Wow. So that's the power in these partnerships. And did I hear that right? You guys ran a marathon together this year?
Yeah.
You bet.
That's incredible. So Byron, what has that partnership with Matt done for you to have somebody like that in your life and in your business to help you do the work when you don't feel like it?
I was just going to say, you absolutely just hit on it. That is the most paramount thing, is just left to our own devices. There are going to be more days where you don't feel like it than when you do. But the times when I didn't feel like it, but I knew at 8:00 Matt Lang was ringing my phone, I didn't have a choice but to answer it, because I wasn't going to be the one to tell him, hey, you know what, today I'm ready to lay in bed today. Today is a great day for that. It's snowing here in Omaha. Like I'm good. The South is nice and warm. You don't understand what I'm going through. But it would have been very easy for me to do that if I didn't have somebody else who was also just as committed as I was, and who also knew what I wanted to get out of this year. So, he wasn't just holding me accountable, for his own sake, but because he knew what I wanted. And he said, well, you told me this is what you wanted, so let's get up and do it.
Awesome.
And it's just great to have that person that, one, can continue to remind you that of why it is you set off to do this in the first place. And then especially as you start growing and, we're a little competitive. Matt's a Marine. I'm an athlete. So we, when I hear him say, yeah, I took a listing this week, or I took 3 listings yesterday, or, whatever happens, you want to get back on the phone. And that's the kind of things that you don't get when you operate on your own. So that accountability has been absolutely paramount for me and kind of growing to what I've grown to. So
awesome. So you guys joined the program. You had some early struggles. You decided to actually take action, get accountability partners, and it's grown into I don't know if you guys are best friends, but you've grown into some really deep friendship, which has been the coolest thing ever to watch over the last year. So talk to me about some of the early ahas. So you started off struggling, but then Matt, you started to get some early success. Byron, you started getting some early success. Matt, what were some of the ahas that you're like, ooh, I got it. That's what it was.
Well, some of the ahas is just doing the work, but then also when you're in front of sellers, you have to kind of almost detach from the result and kind of step back and just offer as much value as you can without being, attached to the result. Especially with FSBOs, that works the best because you're not hovering over them. You want to help them, but you you kind of teeter on that line where you don't care or you do. So detaching from that, and also, that was, I had good success in the beginning, and then me and Byron, and I think even in your training, you said you'll have success, and then you'll take a step back because you'll start looking for the easy way out. And I know me and Byron both did the exact same thing. We tried to do the easy thing, just try to set listing points on first calls and everything else.
Yeah.
We went a period, a dry period, and then we got back to what really works. What were we doing that works? And then just getting back in that daily grind of it.
So what was that? So Byron, before I get to you, Matt, because I watch these interviews, everyone watches these interviews. Someone says a comment, Matt, like you just did, and they're like, "Well, what worked? Tell me. Don't leave that out. What was it?" Because here's what I teach. What I teach, and I want you guys to comment on this, is the opposite of what we've all been taught, which is to do what Matt just said that you guys tried that caused you to fall into a rut. And that was go from first call right to the finish line. Is that what you're talking about, Matt?
Yep.
And so if that didn't work for you guys, what actually works? Tell the audience what you're talking about.
Oh, well, like you say, with a FSBO, you can't force your way into it. You got to wait. You've got to really wait until the gate is open for you to step through. You have to wait until they're ready, for the possibility to list, and to look to other options. And you have to be there. You have to build a relationship on the way. And then, like Byron was talking about earlier, in the beginning, you won't even know it when they're asking you. They're just begging you to ask them for the the interview.
Yep.
They're just waiting for you. And it takes some time and a lot of lessons, a lot of missed opportunities that I learned, where I should have asked for the business and I didn't. But now I know because I went through that struggle. And like I said, there is no easy pill. You just do the work, and the results will happen.
Byron, what do you want to add to that?
I think you about wrapped it up. That is just spot on. Just knowing that going from first call to listing appointment is a dangerous territory, and it can often lead to people not answering your calls later on. So
that's right.
He absolutely nailed it.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So let's fast forward. So you guys started, you struggled, you found each other, started holding each other accountable, started getting some quick wins. What does your guys' business look like now that you've been in the program for about a year? Byron, let's start with you. When you came in, you told me, I don't know if you haven't sold a house yet, or maybe you only sold one. What does your business look like now? Can you get into some of the nitty-gritty numbers?
Yeah. So my first year, when I first encountered the program, I was 3 months in the business. I had done one deal, and I had one buyer who I was helping buy another property. So I basically I joined the program with one deal under my belt, and I finished that entire year. See, I did 5 deals, 5 deals less than $1 million in volume. And so fast forward this year, a year after doing continuous prospecting and really learning the game a little bit, I'll finish with about 32 closed deals, about $6 million in volume this year. And 25 of those are directly from for sale by owners. So,
wow, nice job. That is just absolutely incredible. Matt, what about you? What are your results been like?
All right, so I'll go to my first year. First year I was mainly buyer's agent, running around, had no life, worked 7 days a week, probably 70 hours a week. I ended up doing 35 sides my first year for about $3.5 million. Out of that, I was 83% on the buy side, 17 on the sell. So that's 29 on buy, 6 on sell. So after I joined the program, that's what my goal was, to flip that. This year I'm 78% seller side, 22% buyer, which is with a total of 38 deals, 38 sides. 29 of them are on the seller side, 8 on the buy side. Out of that, 22 of them related to FSBOs for $5.2 million.
Wow, that's incredible, you guys. I mean, as you're saying this, I can only imagine what agents that are watching these, because both of you and I like watching real interviews with real agents going from the beginning to like their whole success story, and that just inspired me. Now, what I want to kind of get into right now is give some agents some advice. People that are watching this, both of you went from here to all the way up to here. Byron, you went from brand new agent to $6 million both of you are earning now 6 figures plus in income, correct?
Yep.
Awesome. Matt, you too, correct?
Yep.
And so, Byron, let me start with you. An agent that either is watching this or is early on into our For Sale by Owner training program, give them some advice, because you know the mindset. You wore their hat. You know the struggles that they're going to go with. What are some things that you can teach people or leave people that are watching this?
So there's 2 things that I would probably leave them with. And one of them is something that I've said and you've said, and they've probably heard it 1,000 other times, is just doing the work consistently. So if you could challenge yourself and commit like a full 60 days of making these calls consistently, like you will see some magic happen at the end of that 60 days or 90 days, even if 90 days is even better. But if you could go 60 days committed and actually consistently dedicate, even if you could dedicate 1 to 2 hours a day to do it, you will see some magic happen at the end of that 60 to 90 days. Just kind of like we did, like I said, just from the experience of now knowing what people are going to say. Because, I mean, the truth is, when you make these calls consistently, people are only going to respond in, 2 or 3 different ways, and you'll kind of hear all those things pretty consistently. And you'll have many opportunities to get belly to belly, like I said, get in front of these sellers, talk to them, build relationships with them, and really understand what their mindset is. So that's the first thing that I would give people. The second thing that I would give people is, and this is one that actually a lot of people I see struggle with, is following up. So follow up is a very, I'll say it's a scary thing for us agents, because we always think we need to bring something brand new to the table that they've never seen or heard before, right? So you need to bring the first time I call them, I told them this. Now, what do I tell them the second, third, fourth, fifth time I call them? A lot of people really, really struggle with this. And I want to give you this analogy, and this is like a big aha moment that helped me actually make my follow-up more productive. So Brandon, you're married, right?
I am. Yes, sir.
You're married. Now, have you ever come home and asked your wife what's for dinner?
Yeah, all the time.
And 99% of the time, what is the answer to that question?
What are you making?
What are you making? Or I don't know, right?
That's right.
Like a lot of the time, those are the answers that you're going to get. And what I've found is through For Sale by Owner follow-up, a lot of times, For Sale by Owners are the exact same way. They really don't know what it is they need or what it is they don't know. So for you to have a scripted, laid out plan for what you're going to give them is not doing them any good. You've really got to do the work to find out what it is that they need or what it is that they might like. Or truth be told, maybe you just need to find out if they need help. Just, hey, listen, I know you've been doing this a while. Do you need some help? And that was just a big aha moment for me, was you can bring them some options instead of just asking them point blank to come up with something. So that really helped me a lot in my follow-up. So I would give that to people. Don't be afraid of that. Ask them what they need, and then don't be afraid to bring them an option or 2 that might make their decisions easier. Love
the analogy, Byron. That is such good nuggets right there for people. Super tactful. And those tactics are just so valuable, because it's like agents they always get caught up in the follow-up. Always. And it's because, well, what do I say on this call that I didn't say on last call? And you just nailed it. It's more about taking action and doing the work and staying consistent with the action that gets the result. It's not the thing that you bring. Matt, what about you? What are some things that maybe Byron didn't say that you think could help people that are watching this?
Well, I would say find someone that has their goals are as big as yours, that match or not, if not higher than yours, and that way they can hold you accountable and you accountable to them. You are raising each other up to your standard that you want. I would find that, and then if you can find that, then the consistency part will be taken care of.
I love it. So talk to me about what are the goals? What are your goals for 2020?
Big goals, Matt. You want to take that one?
Yeah. Double my business, 10 million, 80 sides.
Awesome. And are you guys going to stay in this partnership together where you guys are going to hold each other accountable moving forward, or what does that look like?
Absolutely. We will absolutely be side by side all the way up to the top. So I've got a similar goal, double my business. I'm projecting to do 70 transactions, and we got a new fitness goal for next year. We're going to try to complete a triathlon. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
Well, you guys are truly, and I mean this, you guys, is you inspire me to get better. You know, Byron, Matt, you guys inspire me to level up what it is that I do every day from a fitness standpoint, from being an agent standpoint in my brokerage, being a better leader, being a better coach, being a better example. And I cannot thank you guys enough, because I'm telling you, just this little interview that we just did over the last 20 or 30 minutes, it's going to inspire so many people that you may or may not ever hear from in your life. And so that is true servant leadership at its core. And so I have no doubt that if we do this interview again in another year, that you guys are because both of you guys are trying to get over that $10 million threshold next year, correct?
Yeah,
correct.
Awesome. Super, super exciting. And so again, thank you guys so much for all that you do. And, I'm looking forward to helping you guys get over that $10 million mark into 2020.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it, Brandon.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right.